Good morning, campers. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We are at Hurlong Airport. Don't crash into the runway, please, guy. Okay, cool. We're at Hurlong Airport. It's time for us to take off and continue our VFR trip. Let's just reset my camera, please. Yes, there we go. So there's been a small update to the game, so it should not crash now if the Xbox controller that I was just using disconnects. That's not the right button. There we go. That's what I wanted. All right, let's get on the runway and take off. See our first navlog moment. So departing from Hurlong, you'll find a road just to the north of the airport. North is that direction, directly ahead of us. Stay Route 825 will lead you east, but then the road dead ends near the Sierra Army Depot. Keep your heading. Pick up with the railway line that runs in the same direction. So follow the railway through the Desert Valley, past the second train line arriving from the northwest. You'll continue tracking with the railway. Watch for a road that comes from the south and crosses over it to take you towards Sand Pass. Okay. Give me isolines. Okay, so the railroad will just take us like straight across towards where's our... Oh, wow. Okay, this is a long one. So the rail lines will take us to here. The road should take us up through this area. Then we'll see another road that will follow down to here. And then this should be the city of Gerlach and then the airport. So, again, I do not know this area. I've just looked it on Google Maps a bit. So the airport we're landing at is called Black Rock City Airport, which is literally just a strip of dirt that people use to get to Burning Man. Full speed. Alright, I'm gonna do the thing that the game expects us to do and just keep the throttle pinned the whole flight. Because obviously these are taking too long. Because literally everything I do takes like 25% longer than the game thinks it should. Ooh, little glitchiness there. Alright, so I think our road is directly below us right now. Yeah, completing a bush trip without using to get me back on track feature will award an achievement. Yay! Like that person just driving across that parking lot. There's our road. There it is. We're just going to ignore the giant prison that is to the north of the airport as we continue to fly above Hurlong. This would be the Sierra Army Depot, I think. This area here, so this should be our... Wow, can you stop drifting off course, game? I would like to fly a mostly level, straight and level heading, if that's allowed. There's our rail line. Off into the distance. So yeah, it's got a spur to go into the depot. And we're just getting pushed off course again. I would like to not be getting pushed off course, if that's okay. Is this my feet actually doing this? Oh, it might have been my feet doing that. I might have been applying a slight left rudder. Pro tip, when your rudders are extremely sensitive, take your feet off of them when you want to fly straight and level. That was indeed my problem. Alright, so this particular trip also involves quite a bit of just long distance flying, just long straight sections of zipping along following a railroad track. So might experiment with trying the simulation rate change. I haven't done that before yet. Don't know how to check to make sure I don't have the control key held. So let's just tap the control key a bunch, and whoop, nothing happened. Nothing happened again. Okay, I guess that's cheating in this mode. So we won't be doing that. Just make sure the control key's not being held N. Okay. So my navlog shortcut works, so I guess I just can't change the simulation rate right now. That's fine. That's fine. We'll fly this real time. Once again, I definitely didn't just do it once already and then overstress the airplane right before I landed. It's fine. It's fine, I promise. Oh, it is such a long trip, too. It's like almost an hour. I got all the way there and then just made a hard turn at too high of a speed. So yeah, pro tip, don't maneuver in the yellow. You can cruise in the yellow, don't maneuver in the yellow, and don't go into the red, ever. Green is where you should be maneuvering, and white is flaps. Just pro tip, if you're not super familiar with how the airspeed indicator works on these, just really gentle movements of the stick when you are in the yellow band for speed. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself very sad and reflying a long trip. Which part of the reason I've been keeping my throttle at not maximum all the time is just to avoid overstressing the aircraft if I should make adjustments to my course. But, you know, obviously we're still in the green, so why not just go super fast all the time? That's what everyone else does, apparently. I was getting overtaken constantly by the other players. We're not in all players multiplayer. We're in live players, so they can see us. We can't see, or sorry, we can see them. They can't see us because we're on a fixed weather setting and time setting that is different from real world. So all the other players that we can see will not see us because we are not following live conditions. But it also means that since I accidentally set it back to live multiplayer, not all players, we don't see all the other people that are doing the bush trip, which I guess is probably an advantage. You don't have the people to follow. I strongly encourage everyone who's having difficulty finding these places to, especially if you're still playing it in the first couple weeks after the games come out, load up a free flight with all players turned on, and that'll just like preset your multiplayer conditions, and then just switch back to this. And you'll see all the other people that are doing the bush trip in their Savage Cubs. They might not necessarily be able to see you, depending on what their last multiplayer setting was, but you'll see them. And so if you get lost, you can kind of follow people along from point to point. The other players doing the bush trip will most likely be, I mean, it'll be most of the Savage Cub players in this part of the world will probably be doing the bush trip. So just look for SAVG underneath their player identity things if you've got their cards turned on. Alright, so if you remember from our directions, there's the other rail line coming in to meet ours as we enter this little bit. So we're looking for the road now. Don't hitch. No hitch. No hitch, no awkward. Pop me outside. How about that? Yeah, so we should be looking for a road. I think that's might be it coming in from the south. And then the road will continue off in this direction. Black Rock City's like way off in the distance here. That's Pyramid Lake. Fun fact, to the right, this is Pyramid Lake. This is a popular touristy place for Nevada. Also, fun fact, a bunch of Captain Marvel was filmed up here. The bit where they go driving off into the desert looking for the secret base. Where they start going through the crazy terrain with all the high mountains, and she's got the scene with Fury being like, even my mom calls me Fury. That's all. Nope, not that button. This button. That's all filmed up here. Fun fact. The tunnel bit that they drive into, that's in California. That's just part of a hydroelectric dam. But the road they drove on is somewhere up here. I don't know where exactly. Just don't overstress the plane again. I'm curious to see how much difference just keeping the throttle pegged makes in the amount of time this takes. Yeah, let's bring up our nav log. So, do-do-do-do. As you continue tracking with the railway, watch for a road that comes from the south and crosses over to take you towards Sand Pass. Alright, when the road opens up further in the north, your view will be staggering, marbled, stained sands running, stunning evidence of a vast lake dating back millions of years. Follow the road into this gorgeous arid landscape as the path bends eastward for the briefest of moments. When it straightens back out, look for the waters of Smoke Creek running under the road. Got it. Let's just actually turn that off entirely. I'm drifting to the left again. I'm just gonna kill the throttle a little bit so that my speed is not in the yellow for maneuvering to find our route here. Looking for our road. This is our railroad that we've been following. This is not. That's something else. I think this might be the exact road. Which one does it want us to follow? I think that. I know that's part of the road that we need to follow, so probably this. Get the throttle back up. Bring the nose down, trim a little bit so the plane just doesn't start climbing. We're already at a pretty high altitude here. Where are we at? We're sitting at 9,100 feet in a Piper Cub. Not a Piper Cub, a Savage Cub. I don't know the difference, do you? See, I apologize that I'm not doing the, like, professional time things out and follow the course and heading and time thing, but it just seems less fun to me. Ooh, this is much easier to control with the Xbox controller. Just gotta be real careful. Oh, gosh, that's sensitive. That's really sensitive. Okay, we're not doing that again. Not doing that again. Let's, yeah, there we go. Back on the good joystick. Woo. Alright, don't touch the left stick on the Xbox controller while flying in the yellow band. Got it. A little too sensitive there. See, our cruise speed was down around here when I brought the throttle back, and now we're just cruising along at like 170 kph. Good grief. 173. It's a bit much. It's a bit much for this plane. Why are my landing lights not on? Dude. What is this, mixture? Oh, cabin heat. Choke. Remember, very, very gentle motions on the stick while you're flying in the yellow band. Just, like, think about moving the plane in the direction you want it to go. Don't just, like, yank on the stick. Just gentle movements. Gentle movements. Perfect. Anyway. Pyramid Lake back there. There's our railroad. So the railroad actually takes a much more direct course for Black Rock City. It kind of winds around here, ducks behind this little ridge, and then it just follows this ridge all the way up to Sand Pass. Sand Pass is like the little gap between these two lake beds. But our directions say to go this way, so we're kind of going this way. I cut the corner in the last time I tried this, and it just was less interesting. So we're gonna keep following the game's recommended route and flying slightly faster. Good grief, this is gorgeous scenery though, isn't it? Pop outside. Boop. Look at that. That is spectacular. Medic 24 life. Lovin, who I assume is flying on a fake license. And then a bunch of people over Reno and Lake Tahoe. That's gorgeous. That is absolutely breathtaking. Planet photo for a screenshot. That might be our thumbnail, depending on whether or not I remember to take a picture of Black Rock City. Also, discovered this. The engine's in here. They actually modeled the engine. Let's see if we can check it out. That's super loud. Cool. Now let's just reset the camera. Pop back inside. Oh, peace and quiet. So the reason it's so much quieter inside, I'm doing headphone simulation because I fly with a Turtle Beach headset and microphone. So it's, you know, tries to do what it would sound like if you were sitting in the pilot seat wearing a headset like a pilot would, rather than just like what would it sound like if you're sitting in the pilot seat with your ears uncovered. So that's why it is much quieter inside, which I kind of like, because it also makes air traffic control a bit louder than the engine noise. So I do very much like this audio setting. Let's just keep ourselves aimed where we want to go. Oh gosh, I'm just terrified I'm going to overstress the plane again. Good? Good. All right. We are flying relatively level here, not bad. Oh my gosh, that rudder is so sensitive. I am literally moving the rudder with just like a single toe. Just to make sure that was not what the problem was. So I think I need to add a dead zone to this rudder. We are now drifting slightly to the right, which suggests that my drifting issues were, in fact, rudder-related a moment ago. See, I think this is our road. What is our next direction? N. Oh, sorry, control. N. Now I'm just gonna tap Z just to make sure our autopilot's not turned on. When the road opens up further to the north, yeah, we did that. Farther down, past a pair of circular farming fields, now you'll find the waters of Buffalo Slough flowing under the road. And then track the desert road to its end at a T intersection onto Nevada State Route 447. Follow 447 south. Circular farming fields. Circular farming fields. Oh! 2 circular farming fields. Well, that was easy enough, so I guess we're supposed to be somewhere over here? Oh, is this the road we're supposed to... that doesn't look like a road. It's just like a dirt track. This looks more like a road than that, and I'm pretty sure this is a river. At least we are heading in the correct direction. I know this is the correct direction because I've flown it already. This is the pass. Honestly, if you're doing this for the first time, you're having trouble following the directions in the game, just follow this rail line. This rail line goes directly where we're supposed to go. It is a slightly more useful course. Nice wide zoomed out view. It's like leaning back in your chair while you fly along. Can't see anything on the ground below you, but you can see all the stuff inside. Okay, let's squint. Squint and sit back down in the chair. Here we go. There's our 2 circular farming fields again. Yeah. Just bumping noises. Very gently steer to the right. Again, no heavy movements on the stick while you're in the yellow band. Since I know where our destination is, we're just going to make a little bit of a beeline straight for it. So the city of Görlitz is right in this area. There's a small landing strip there. It's not a listed airport in the game. And the game has, in fact, put a warehouse on top of it. But you can see it on the texture where the runway should be for the town of Görlitz. But it's a nice little truck stop there, too. I've not been there, but it's a little Shell truck stop. A couple of folks parked there in the satellite view. Very small town. It does have an elementary school, though, so I guess it's big enough to support a decent number of people. But yeah, Black Rock City is our destination, not Görlitz. Görlitz is just a small signpost on the road. See, I think the intersection they want us to do to follow Highway 4, whatever, somewhere in this vicinity, and comes into this pass from the left. So this is Granite Peak that he wants you to fly around. I had the right word there, fly around. So yeah, we'll just kind of nudge past Granite Peak and head off into this desert where we'll find Black Rock City. Rail line that I recommend you follow. Much easier to track through this desert than the mishmash of roads and pathways over there. Again, if you're wondering how I'm controlling the drone camera so easily, Xbox One controller. Xbox 360 controller presumably worked just as well, but Xbox One controller Bluetoothed into my awesome. Really significantly improves the drone controls. Reset. Back inside. I'm just having too much fun. I'm having too much fun flying around I'm flying a smaller plane around my big plane, which is itself a small plane. Because I can't overstress the drone. God, the way the game just cuts to a black screen when you overstress an aircraft in this, it is so jarring. It's just, you hear like a little bit of a creaking noise and then black screen. The last flight simulator that came out was Microsoft Flight in 2012, and in that one, you like actually the airplanes didn't fall apart or anything, but they did crash when you hit something. So they would just like ragdoll effectively into the ground, which was amusing because they didn't behave like, you know, it behaved like your airplane was made of this lightweight but impossible to dent substance, and you just kind of like would cartwheel along the ground. It was really funny. But I think Microsoft has gotten some flack for making crashing a thing in other games, other flight sim games. We are sitting at almost 10,000 feet. Let's back off on the throttle and begin a nice controlled descent towards Gurlich. Gurlich? How do you pronounce that actually? Gurlich. Gotcha. I feel like just calling it Gurlich is much more fun. Alright, so as you can see, we're using... I haven't changed our pitch at all. I've just reduced the throttle, so we are descending at about 500 feet per minute on the vertical speed indicator. So our destination, so the city of Gurlich is down in here, and Black Rock City is kind of out in this general area. And we're just landing on a runway in the middle of the desert. There's like there's just a single arrow to mark where it is. In fact, no, not VFR map, Navlog. Let's bring this down. All right, Triangle Road Junction. Route 447 is bordered by Granite Peak to the east. That's this ridge. And once you make your way around the mountain's southernmost tip, the road will bend northeast towards a triangle-shaped junction. That's going to be right around here. At the triangle, continue northeast, use the road. I've just messed that up. Use the road in that direction as your guide. Soon you'll see another junction up to the east, leading into famous Black Rock City. A dirt runway denoted with an arrow is your destination. Come in for landing. Complete this leg of the journey. So that is here. You can see the arrow at the end of the runway. According to AirNav, this is 2 runways side by side, and they want you to land on the left and take off on the right. So that seems a little bit optimistic to be 2 runways to me, but apparently this place gets really busy during the festival, so we will see. So I think this round spot here is Black Rock City. aka Burning Man. We are pretty much right on schedule for how long the game thought this was going to take as well. We've only been flying for about 30 minutes, and we're already approaching our destination, and we cut a corner a little bit, so the game expects this to be like a 45-minute flight. So we've made good time. It's also telling because the flight took considerably longer the previous time I did it when I was not flying at full speed the whole time, so certainly if you're wanting to do this all faster than I have, you can just fly full throttle all the time. It's probably fine. Oh, I just remembered I didn't add fuel. All right, well, we'll be adding some fuel when we land. Oh boy. All right, if I run out of fuel, I'm gonna be embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. We were just at a nice paved runway, though I assume fuel is not difficult to come by out here. We could always land in Gurlich and get some. There's a gas station down the road. Though, aircraft like this typically run on leaded gasoline, not auto gasoline, not unleaded auto gas. So we can't exactly just pull up to the pump and fill it. Let us continue to pull back our throttle. Which will slightly expedite our descent. And as we start to descend, we'll gain a little bit of speed, and that will arrest our descent as we start producing more lift, and eventually it will settle into a nice equilibrium of continuing forward at roughly the same speed we were flying level at a minute ago, but with a slight descent to it. There we go, right on 500 there, perfect. See, you can see the road coming into town here. So this is Gurlich, this collection of buildings down here. The truck stops like right here. And then there's like a grass stripe here that is where the runway is for that town. It's just dirt, and the game has unfortunately rendered a warehouse like right here, so you can't even land there. It's not an airport as far as the game is concerned. So yeah, that's this. Fascinating that it's like visible on the texture, even though it's not an airport in the game. What's this button? Turn avionics off. No. Not doing that. Your landing lights are on. Yeah, landing lights are on. Strobe. We don't need the strobe. It's the middle of the day. We don't need the strobe. This is going to be Black Rock City. I think our runway's right around here. You can kind of see like a little bit of a line there. Getting close. Getting very close. This is the road that we were supposed to be following to get there. We're just going to fly straight at it. We're going to do one nice loop of Black Rock City, bring it in for a landing, following the arrow. So sensitive. The amount of movement in this stick is minimal right now. bringing us back into the green zone so we can actually, like, safely maneuver the plane a little bit better. I'm going to keep throttling back because I do want to keep descending. So we should start seeing buildings begin popping in here shortly. Yeah, this is Black Rock City here. Getting very close. Yeah. Okay, see, yeah, you can kind of see the semicircular shape of it. So Burning Man happens like dead center of this arc. And that would be our runway. So close. Don't screw it up now. Oh, we do have a turn coordinator. I never noticed that before. Lovely. Probably because I sit so high up in the seat most of the time. It's good to know, though. Let's check out the AirNav page for this airport. Elevation 3,912 feet. It's just a boop. Make sure our barometer is correct. Actually, so let me just make sure I didn't accidentally turn on autopilot. I think I did. See. Yep, okay, cool. We turned it off again. My computer does this thing where the control key occasionally sticks, so if you accidentally if you try to bring up the nav log with N, then it thinks you're hitting Control N, and Control N turns on nav mode on your autopilot. And this, you might be thinking this plane doesn't have an autopilot. Well, it turns out, apparently it does, and I keep accidentally turning it on, trying to bring up my nav log. So, yeah, that's definitely a thing. We are almost here. You can see some buildings starting to pop in. Excellent. I guess this is like a racetrack or something. I'm not entirely sure. The Google Maps image of this is just there's cars and sections out here lined up for miles. So I guess I like got it as Burning Man was happening, which I guess is what you want for getting a satellite image of the place where Burning Man happens. Which, for those not familiar, it's a big music festival out in the desert. It's not my kind of thing. Alright, there's the black arrow indicating the runway. Supposedly this is 2 runways side by side. Don't know about that, but 2 runways and 3 helipads somewhere in there. Who knows? So yeah, we'll circle back around and land. I want to see what Black Rock City actually looks like here. Done enough controlled descending. Fast descent. Note to self, be cautious. This is how I broke the airplane last time. In the video that nobody saw, because I broke the airplane right before I landed. Yeah, we're going to pitch back just a little bit to keep our speed coming down. While I throttle down as well. This is fascinating. Gosh, it looks like a place of worship, doesn't it? Just like everything gathered around. I guess that looks like a water tank of some kind, whatever that building has become. I think this is like the main stage right here. Let's active pause. Ding. Hop outside. Ding. Let's get ourselves a thumbnail. F12. Back inside. Active pause off. Active pause can really mess you up when you don't know it's on. I was trying to film the video review of the Cessna 182, the Carinado Skylane that has come out as DLC, the $30 DLC, which you can find that video on the page. But long story short, I wouldn't recommend buying it. I was trying to film that video and accidentally had active pause on and could not figure out why I could not get it to move. And then finally I turned active pause off without having throttled back at all, and the plane just like launched itself into a building from stationary, which was, oh, it was really funny to watch, honestly. But very funny. But not something I would recommend to everyone. Not something I would recommend. Oh, I guess it is like a tent. Zoom. Thank you. Yeah, the game has like rendered it as like is that a hotel or like a temple or something? Very interesting roof structure. Welcome to Burning Man. Home of the Burning Man, can I take your order? You know, this looks more like a runway than the runway does. Speaking of, I think it's that. Yeah, there's the arrow. Alright, that's our landing spot. Alright, give me my normal view. Feet on the pedals. Time to land this thing. Got one notch of flaps down. Just making a nice wide turn toward the runway. Something just loaded in. Drop another notch of flaps here. Bring the power back into this. We're going to land on the left stripe. Rather than directly in the middle, because this is supposed to be two separate runways, and the arrow is clearly pointing at the one to the right. But apparently during normal operations, they prefer people to land on the left and take off on the right. Gosh, it's much bigger than it looked from the air. Flaps up. Let's come to a stop and see if this counts. Ding. No ding. Okay. Game's really gonna make me hold on to this one. Okay. Ding? Ding. Okay. Land on the one aligned with the arrow. Got it. Good note for everybody. Land on the one lined up with the arrow. Cool. 50 minutes, an extra 5 minutes longer than the game thought it would take, but I did do an actual, like, lap of Burning Man there. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Eliodare. You can find me on Twitter and Facebook. Not Facebook. Twitter, Xbox Live, Steam, all the usual places at Eliodare. Follow me on Xbox Live if you want me to pop up in Flight Simulator when you are out flying. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day. Like, comment, subscribe. You know the things you're supposed to do. Whatever. Bye!